Hello，大家好，这里是星星，欢迎又来到星星绕地球。今天我的频道请来了一位 guest， 他叫 Victor， 然后呢，他是美国呀，他会说一些的中文，他非常喜欢中国文化。然后今天请他来呢，是因为他的 background， 说他是一个美国退休的一个警察的长官。那个 Victor 呢，他其实 travel 了很多的国家。然后其实本来今天请他过来，其实我们是想聊一聊，是在他眼中的美国和其他国家，尤其是亚洲、中国这些华人国家，然后有什么区别在生活上，在那个成本上，在文化上。欢迎大家扫图片上的二维码，加入我的东南亚躺平交流群交流互动哦。既欢迎在考虑退休、海外旅居或投资之类的观众，也欢迎东南亚当地的朋友，大家互相交流，交个朋友哦。Yeah, Victor, I said that what's the difference between US and Asian, and what's a different cost, the living cost, the expense.
Sure.
So yeah, and also the culture. So maybe.
Well, it's funny that you brought this up because I was just texting my daughter. I have an adult daughter who lives in New York City, and she was telling me about the rent in New York. And,
it's very expensive.
Yeah,
right?
very expensive. So she shares a 2-bedroom apartment. In kind of an up-and-coming, kind of trendy area of Manhattan, the Lower East Side, and she and her roommate, this 2-bedroom apartment, in a place which was kind of a rundown area in the past. It's looking better now. $3,800, so $3,800 for this 2-bedroom apartment, kind of small. So, each one of those two girls, they pay about $1,850 just for their half of the rent.
Is that a modern apartment? Or
It's an older building, kind of an older apartment. The apartments have been, refurbished inside, but there's no elevator. You have to walk up 6 flights of stairs. So when you
typical
move in
Manhattan.
or out, yeah, typical Manhattan. And so, when you talk about the cost of living of stuff, a lot of things go into it, a lot of factors. Are you able to save money? Do you make enough money from your work that you can afford rent like that? How much are you spending for your groceries? How much are you spending for your cable, your phone bill, transportation?
And how much, actually, I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So how much do you think a single person need in Manhattan, in New York, per month? To have a normal, decent
life, one person in a 1-bedroom, anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 US
to $8,000 for one
to
person.
Live comfortably, to be able to buy your groceries, have a little money left over to go out at night once in a while.
$5,000 to $8,000.
$8,000 a month, and this is just for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, actually, I sent you the video. I talked the previous 2 video. I talked about a little bit about Malaysia, the living cost in Malaysia. So the audience told me, so under $2,000 US for one person, you can have very good. So over decent, more than decent, almost luxury life in not in Manhattan, in Kuala Lumpur, in the capital city of Malaysia. It's way cheaper. So cheaper.
Yes, and even you look at a place like China. Shanghai is kind of like their New York City. And that would be considered kind of one of the more expensive places to live in China.
Shanghai is a modern Manhattan.
Yes, and so. Even in Shanghai, the rents are about 45% cheaper than United States rents in similar cities like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, San Francisco. Whereas an American or a foreign person living in Manhattan in New York City may need $5,000 to $8,000 just for one person to survive. You might not need that much to survive in Shanghai. You can still find a nice place, in downtown Shanghai, anywhere from, 1,000, even 1,200 a month, US. Obviously things like, buying a car or maybe some groceries might be more expensive in China, depending on where you're going. But again, all of these things depend on, how much money do you make? Do you have a good job? Are you not living paycheck to paycheck? Are you able to save money? Are you good with money? Instead of just spending, lavishly. And so it depends, everything's going to be relative, whether you want to live in Tokyo or Shanghai or Seoul or in Kuala Lumpur.
Japan is cheaper now.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, so you said a single girl, so in Manhattan need at least so like 5,000 to 8,000 to have a decent life. How about now here in Los Angeles?
In Los
A
Angeles,
little bit cheaper or the same?
a little bit cheaper, but again, it depends on where you live. So, you know, in fact, I was just looking at housing prices. Just take my hometown is Pasadena, California.
It's a good area.
It's a nice area, very popular. Everybody wants to move to Pasadena. Excuse me. Just to buy a house, a regular house. This isn't a big mansion. This is a regular house in a regular neighborhood in Pasadena. It's $1 million just to get in.
I think it's $1.5 million in Pasadena.
Yeah. It's very expensive. The housing market is very robust in Pasadena. And you know, but again, if you live in some other part of Los Angeles County, it's going to be cheaper. You know, you can afford maybe a house or a condominium in a more not as popular place, maybe $500,000.
Actually, I think a good apartment here to be it's also like close to 4,000 amounts here. It's
for sure.
Similar, very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
You know, just you know, in Pasadena, the nice parts of Los Angeles, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,800 to $2,000 just to get into a 1-bedroom, you know, just a basic.
这个我知道，因为我最近就一直卖掉房子。Victor knows I just sold my house. I'm renting right now. Yeah, it's really so. 我就算是在这边，我租一个在这个房子里面，就是现在我住的地方是我租的。Now this I rent, you know. So I only rent a 1-bedroom and with attached bathroom. And per month, so it's already over 2,000.
Yes.
Of course, because mine is short lease, it's a little bit more expensive.
So, you know, you have to look around. I mean, you have to, you know, do your research whenever you're going to want to move to one of these big cities. You know, make sure you understand what all the costs are going to be, moving costs.
I might move to Malaysia soon.
Yes.
Because it's so cheap.
Yes, there are some places that you can definitely live like a king in some of these places. The queen, yes, in your case. But yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into it, you know, financially, that you really have to think about, you know, how can I live comfortably in this city versus this city?
That's why I invite you to talk about this of different.
It's even here in USA culture, a lot of people, you know, even people that are wealthy, say in California or New York, they will move to another state
like
where
Florida,
Florida or Texas or Tennessee, where the cost of living is way cheaper, and they can get more, as we say in American culture, more bang for your buck, where their dollar goes a lot further, you know, and they can, you know, afford bigger house, a bigger property, they can afford more stuff, to travel more. But you're right, this whole like retiring early thing, I mean, you know, when you look at the average retirement age in the United States is 65 to 67. You know, I've even had people tell me, oh, you're old, you know, how are you able to retire at 55? Well, it's different in law enforcement. So, you know, there's a different kind of schedule. But yeah, there's a lot of young people with money that, you know, retiring early. They want to go live somewhere where, again, they can get more bang for their buck, where it's, you know, they can, like I said, live like a queen.
So can you tell me what's your opinion? So what's your impression of those different countries and which one you like the most? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of them, it was a long time ago, admittedly, that I've been to them. I think most recently, Hong Kong is the last, in 2019. And I like Hong Kong a lot. I've been there before, and I like big cities. I like New York. I like big skyscrapers and buildings and like.
Then Beijing, Shanghai.
I still have to visit those cities, but you know, I can tell that, you know, when I watch videos of Shanghai and Beijing and you know, some of the bigger cities. I like Seoul, South Korea is nice, big, you know. Singapore is nice. But a lot of these places also for me, like, you know, because I've thought about moving to one of these places.
Have you ever been in Malaysia?
I've been to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, yeah. Some of these places are a little too hot for me, like weather-wise, temperature. I don't really do well in the heat, so I like it more colder. So maybe Beijing.
Japan. Beijing.
Maybe Beijing's for me.
Welcome to Beijing. I will fly to Beijing in November too.
Yeah. So you know, some place that's a little cooler than, you know, versus hotter. You know, I've been to Dubai in the summer, and it's not pretty.
I love hot weather.
It's very hot, very, very humid, as is Hong Kong and Singapore.
How about can you just tell me something like keywords? what's the difference if I let you compare this country, the difference of expense, also the difference of culture?
I think that for like, I would tell my American friends if they were looking to go overseas to travel, I would recommend them go to Asia. There's so many rich, beautiful cultural places in Asia, especially in China, World Heritage sites. And again, your dollar, the American dollar, can go a long way in some of these places. And you know, if you want to get the most out of your travel, vacation, or living, you know, money, go to Asia for sure. And you can see a lot, do a lot. Transportation is cheaper. Public transportation is advanced.
Food is cheaper. And the housing is cheaper.
Housing is cheaper. Versus, you know, some of these other places in Europe or Scandinavia or even Germany, you know, I was just in Germany, that it's a little more expensive. You would have a harder time, you know, making your dollar go as far as, say, places like, you know, Thailand or Vietnam or Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, you know, or even, you know, places in China, you know. But yeah, so I would tell people, go to Asia. You know, it's going to be pretty, you know, you get to do more and see more and afford more.
How about the culture? You mean the
culture?
people?
The people are good. Asians are good people, you know, and Chinese are good people. I like that. I like, you know, we have some large Chinese communities here in Los Angeles, San Gabriel,
everywhere
Irvine,
Chinese.
Everywhere.
我们经常去吃中餐 We go to Chinese restaurant all the time.
You know you're in a nice, safe area when there's a lot of Chinese people. So.
中国人是这样的，所以
so I,
只要是中国人买房的地方，一定是学分高，然后安全。I said when the Chinese buy house, they choose a good area with a good school.
Good school,
so,
yes.
Follow Chinese.
follow Chinese.
所以中国人买房的这个地方，房价也被炒得很贵。Graduated. 好啦，那我们谢谢 Victor 这一期来陪我们聊那么多东西。然后 Victor, you will go to Texas soon, right?
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Yeah, to see your
sister. Yes, see my sister.
Okay. Yeah. OK 啦，那谢谢 Victor 这一期来我们的频道，然后跟大家说再见，拜拜。那我们下期见啦。
So cute.
Victor, say bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you next time.